pet. I had a crayfish growing up.
Oh god.
And I never went nose to nose with Sebastian.
You had a what?
I had a crayfish.
Name Sebastian. Insulting to name your crayfish after a world-renowned lobster. Like, he really wants to be a lobster. So don't insult him.
Wow. Why would he want to be a lobster? Why can't he just revel under the sea with a very unoffensive Caribbean accent and tell people about the wonders of ocean life?
I'm not sure, but I think people are going to be proper pronunciation is craw.
Yeah, right.
We need to ask their new head football coach down there how to properly pronounce it.
Crawdad.
All the flavor.
Yeah, my
Brian
family
knee deep in crawdad somewhere.
Hey guys.
Hey, buddy.
Can we just stare into each other's eyes remotely?
Are we tired? Like, it feels like we're all tired. Is that what happened? Did we have a long weekend? Like, who's going to bring the energy and wake us?
I mean, Gojo is back in Connecticut.
He's the youngest.
Snowed in after being out in Arizona. He's just feeling it right now.
He needs to bring the energy. He's the youngest.
Yeah.
We need to
Lift
count on
us.
you to fire this up.
You know
That's
what?
Pablo. I'm Domonique, and that is the ball of energy down there, Mike Golic Jr.
I want to be a ball of energy, but I got greeted with one of those like reminders of adulthood today that like things only get fixed when you do something about it. And as I sat here in my freezing cold house all morning because the thermostat went out and I couldn't get the heating unit to pop on and I had to call dude to come over here, it was just like immediately after going and like getting to be a kid again and stay at my parents' house, I'm back here doing this, so I don't feel very young right now. I feel ticked off at
again, as always, as is the nature of the history of this wonderful nation, the responsibility falls on me. Let's go. Give me the card.
Yes, we can.
All right.
I'm excited to take credit for it.
First topic. Would you rather start today by celebrating the Bengals or crushing the Chiefs for blowing an 18-point lead?
We gotta. I mean, you might think that energy would lead us to celebration, but in our line of work, I mean, we gotta do some crushing, right? It's crushing
the answer
time.
to the question is like the big name. So whoever has the biggest name,
that's correct.
And like whatever we could attach to them is the right answer. I think that Patrick Mahomes has the bigger name, so like we should definitely crush him and Andy Reid today. And it's one of the rare opportunities we get to be critical of Patrick Mahomes, who, when he lost the biggest game of the year last year, we left thinking he was better than he was before that game. So this is actually a time where Patrick Mahomes came up small in the big moment. It's the first time I've ever seen it. It was shocking.
Well, he was so big in the first half, like as good as he could possibly be. 3 touchdowns on his first 3 drives, 220 yards, no interceptions. And then the second half, and we'll get into like why this happened, why it is that Patrick Mahomes had only 55 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, had the biggest swing in the history of QBR in the like recorded playoff database, like 98 something to 1 point something. What happened at halftime that made it such that we got to crush a dude who had never really been crushed so crushingly?
I can't even begin to guess because it was like all the stuff that worked for him in the first half just stopped working, right? Like we know part of the Chiefs' whole plan on offense is like Pat's just going to be special. And like in the first half, we saw him do the exact thing, like the spinning loop-de-loop that had Tony Romo making all the noises before the touchdown. Like, all of that worked in the first half. And then in the second half, Sam Hubbard reminded everybody, hey, I used to play safety when I first got to Ohio State, and starts blitzing from depth after 3-man rushes. And all that spinny stuff doesn't work anymore. So it was the exact undoing of all the things Pat usually does best.
Well, the spinny stuff, Domonique, I mean, Gojo just mentioned it, right? They were dropping 8. That seemed to be a big change for the Bengals defense. They were dropping 8. And all year we talk about how do you solve Patrick Mahomes? Is it the too high safety thing? Blah, blah, blah. Is there something in what the Bengals did in the second half that actually is something resembling a new plan? How did you see that as a guy who did this?
No. I mean, in rewatching the game, they did the same stuff in the first half. It just didn't work. Like they didn't go in and cook up something brand new. I guess they probably dropped 8 more in the second half, but they dropped 8 in the first half too, and it didn't work. So I don't think so. It feels like it's more on the Chiefs than it's on the Bengals. It's more of a collapse than it was a forced collapse. And it all started when Patrick Mahomes maybe got a little too big for his britches and waved off the field goal and decided to go for it by throwing it into the flat. Like that was one of the poorer decisions that Patrick Mahomes has ever made. Like, okay, wave them off, but throw an incomplete pass into the end zone so you still have time to kick a field goal. He threw a flat route to Tyreek Hill, who got tackled by Eli Apple. They ran out and didn't get any points. And from then on, the offense seemed kind of broken and like lethargic throughout the entire like second half. They didn't muster very much, even in overtime. Like they stopped running the ball. Like none of it was work. Even though they were effectively running the ball, they stopped doing that. It just seemed like Patrick was working, was not making those things work. And then the whirling dervish display ended like that. That series where they tied the game, putrid. That was just putrid. When they could have taken the lead in that final drive, and he just got sacked out of reasonable touchdown range. It was just a mess.
Yep, twice on 2 consecutive plays. The word the word I believe when you say like, you know, this wasn't a forced collapse, this was a self collapse. There's Alabaster. There's another word for that, and I'm shocked that you didn't use it in this card for what the Chiefs did.
I will not say it.
There's just a word for that. You said it without saying it.
I didn't. Well, I won't say it. There's a difference.
Alabaster, are you going to say it? I'm
no
shocked you haven't said it.
You calling him? Are you saying that Patrick choked? Our beloved Patrick choked?
Sorry, yeah, it was just lodged in our show's throat.
No,
that we
you
can't
can
say the word that
I see you still haven't said it.
To what you're
Go ahead
describing.
and say it. Say the whole
Pablo,
sentence.
why jump?
All right, Patrick Mahomes choked. Help.
I'm not gonna say it. I wouldn't dare. I've seen what he's capable of.
I will say, like, but Domonique said, like, he did play poorly.
Yes,
in a
that's
very
as far as we'll go.
inopportune portion of the game.
Let's keep it going. Yes, more synonyms.
I will avoid that by definitely pivoting towards another part of all this. It is the one thing I will give the Bengals credit for, because I think on the other side we saw Kansas City do this poorly in the spots where Joe Burrow affected the game, was like rush contain. Like in the Bills game, we saw Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen both have over 50 yards rushing in that game, a lot of which, especially for Pat, all comes on scramble yardage here. Pat didn't have a lot of room to go take off, or he didn't feel as comfortable going and actually putting his foot down and doing it, which maybe he should have done more of. But you saw the 2 biggest third downs for Joe Burrow in the game all came on him breaking contain, him managing to wriggle his way out of sacks, but then putting a foot on the ground and going to get the yards there. Like, Pat's always been at his best when he uses his legs as a check down, because he is fast enough to do that. And I don't think we saw any of that in this game, sans maybe a couple towards the perimeter that were more failures than anything else.
I mean, Joe Burrow, as Alabaster's pointing out via card here, was sacked only once after being sacked 9 times the week before. And I know sacks are not an all-encompassing stat when it comes to pressure, when it comes to hurries. There's other stuff going on. Obviously, the scrambling matters here. But what did this game tell you about Joe Burrow that you didn't know? Like, in a real way. Like, how am I supposed to think of him? Because the stats aren't, like, wild and crazy, right? At some point in the distant future, you look at this box score and you won't think to yourself, wow, here was the arrival of a supernova. But watching the game, there was at the very least, and maybe the word I keep returning to in terms of just like, again, finding synonyms for how to describe what these guys actually are, just like super confident.
Yeah. I mean, I think
is that just
fair.
his superpower? Like, what is it?
It appears to be infectious also, along with luck. Like, that is also apparently pretty infectious. All that stuff, it's hard for us to explain. You can't put numbers to it. You can't necessarily pick it out, which may mean there's something else going on that we don't understand, but it feels like something special is going on. Yeah. And like, that's where the Joe Cool stuff comes from, because he's cool as hell. Like, no one can take that away from him. You know what makes you really cool?
And the chain.
Being awesome and winning, like, will make a corny dude cool. So I don't know whether Joe Burrow is actually cool or not, but when he jumped onto our collective consciousness in college, he was cool as hell, and he hasn't really lost much since. He got hurt, and now we just see him win and make clutch plays in important moments. We got here 3 or more points, 6-0.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I could say doing underdog stuff. Oh, like, let's put it this way. If nothing else, like if he's not cool or if he's not even maybe as great as we want to believe, his timing is excellent because he knows when we want to go ahead and build the myth, and he decides to do all the cool bleep when it comes time for that. So I don't know. I was thinking about this with all the Tom Brady news. Like, Joe Burrow is whatever he needs to be at the given moment. Like, he's like a quarterback MacGyver. You need him to throw for a hot mess of yards in a game in some sort of epic shootout. Hey, I can do all that for you. You need me to pick up my first, 2 3rd and 6 conversions of the season? Cool. I'll do that for you. It's kind of what he was on a bigger scale at LSU in his last year, because for that offense, it was really like, how special can Jamar Chase and their other receiver
Jefferson.
be on any, Justin Jefferson be on any given play. And then Joe just sort of colored within those lines. So he's just kind of doing that against better competition here. It's the same formula that they used at LSU largely, just kind of being born out here in Cincy.
I want to quote Dragonfly Jones on Twitter here because he had an observation that I think cuts to the core of what both of you guys are saying here. Quote, Joe Burrow is everything the media wanted Baker Mayfield to be, but they saw Baker dancing like 1999 Julia Stiles, and they just couldn't contain their excitement.
Well, I mean,
That is true.
No disrespect to Dragonfly, who is awesome on Twitter, but I mean, I pretty much said that like 2 months ago. Like, I mean,
no,
wow.
I will give you your flowers on that, Domonique.
Domonique bringing receipts.
I mean,
like, it wasn't like a poorly circulated tweet.
Nah,
that thing went viral.
Wait, hold on.
That thing got clicks. It was heating up the interwaves.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it might got over 2K, but who cares?
I'm sorry, Alabaster. Did I just totally disregard the work of one of our own panelists to praise someone who's not even on our show?
You did, and it was only like, it was exactly 28 days ago that Domonique tweeted this, and it got 61,000 likes. He went mega viral.
Wow.
Pablo, do you have anything you want to say?
Wow, I apologize. I choked. I choked.
I mean, one of the funny things about this is as I watch quarterback play more, like with more of a critical eye, you notice the plays that don't get made that could change all of this. And I know we're going to get to the Rams game where Stafford tried to throw the game away, but ended up balling out and winning. But Joe Burrow he threw one of the most interceptable, ugly, inexplicable balls to Nick Bolton on the sideline. We won't remember that. We won't talk about that, nor should we. Patrick Mahomes' bad passes, some of them got caught. That's a problem. His sacks and all that stuff was a problem. But it's just funny to think about all this. As cool as Joe is, in the toughest moment of the game, he rolled out to the right. There's no lineman in front of him to obstruct his view, and he throws it right at a linebacker with no receiver close by. Like, obviously I'm no quarterback, but I still think I deserve to be able to criticize that foolishness.
Just total disrespect for Nick Bolton's hands by saying there's no way he's going to catch that.
Like, there was nothing to be gained. It didn't even look like he was going out of bounds. Didn't look like he was going to a receiver. I was like, what are you doing? But he went on from there and took him down the field and scored, and it was fine.
It is one of those spots because even on the interception that Joe did throw, it was a reminder that, like, arm strength-wise, Joe Burrow's never going to wow anyone. But it's all, like, I think both of those throws looked like a guy who still in his head thinks he's gotten way more of a rocket than he actually does in real life. The unwavering Joe Burrow confidence continues to leak out even in the worst spots.
Can we put a number on the Joe Burrow arm strength thing? Because this has become a thing I've noticed Domonique staking a claim on Twitter. Because let's say Josh Allen is a 10, and let's say, I don't know who's the one. Who has the weakest arm? I don't know who that is.
We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that.
But where is Joe Burrow on the 1 to 10 scale if Allen's a 10? And Mahomes is like a 9, I guess.
What do you think? What is average in this? Are we going 1 to 10, so average is 5, or?
Yeah, I'd say 5 is average. This isn't like a C where it's like a 70.
Yep.
So we're just going on strength.
Yeah.
Well, we could do the Madden scale. Either way, I would give him, out of respect, I'll give him. If we're saying the average quarterback, I'll give him about average. I think he probably has an average arm as far as strength is concerned. So we'll go right at 5.1 because he's so cocky, and I love it.
I would say that we can aggregate this and get headlines, but we literally tried to generate headlines on Friday's show, Gojo, where we gave hot takes about Jimmy Garoppolo, and
We
I
got no
literally suggested that we
rights.
murder him, and no one cared.
Wow.
We tried. So
Man, apparently we just need a former quarterback for the team to say that.
We do clearly. We got anything else on this game? Like,
shout out!
Am I wrong, or does it feel dry? Like, I don't know. It feels like, are we just all collectively tired?
No,
as a
we're second
country?
half
Like,
Mahomesing this right now. We really are.
Yes,
But it was a weird game too. Like we said, like none of what the Bengals have done. Like I remember going back to the Super Bowl last year. You talked about Domonique, where I like we all picked Mahomes blindly on the faith of he'll just awesome their way out of this. And then like we remembered that football requires people who can block and tackle and do all that. And like this Bengals team has taken that formula and borne it out over an entire season where Joe's been sacked 62 times. So now I'm not sure what like matters anymore. Like, and clearly this winning streak, as improbable as it's been, has included a bunch of elements that don't support like the notions of what I know about football.
You know what does matter? Eli Apple matters.
Yes. Finally,
I knew how
Eli
to get
Apple.
my man Pablo's attention. We are doing
Finally.
an internet show, so we should talk about the current NFL king of the internet.
He called
Eli
Tyreek
Apple.
Hill on Twitter after the game a baby. And not the baby and like, oh, you're whining too much. Just like a, no, you see me put you on the ground like an infant on that play in the flat at the end of the first half, like that kind of a thing. Eli Apple is on. If there's anyone on a heater right now, anyone whose legend got resurrected by outcomes beyond his actual control, it is absolutely Eli Apple.
If I had known that the Chiefs were going to lose either way, I really wish it would have ended on that Eli Apple dropped interception. When Patrick threw him one in overtime and it hit him right in the old breadbasket and he dropped it. Like, can you imagine what Eli would be on right now? Because he caused the interception that ended the game against the Titans. If he would have ended this game also with the interception, like I need this, because the version of Eli Apple we have now is incredible, even though he wasn't dominant in this performance. But I would like to see an even more amped up Eli Apple. I love a DB getting a little bit of attention. It's the best.
This really is like the perfect embodiment of what a DB was. I remember I forget who it was. It might have been Corin Brown when he was coaching at one of our DBs at Notre Dame. This guy, Robert Blanton, who played a while in the NFL, was not super physically talented, but he had the unwavering confidence. He's like, this is a reminder that like DB is one of those few positions on the field where just going out and being Joe Burrow level confident can actually make you a really good player. And Eli Apple is a testament to that, because I watched that dude get cooked so many times in the first half of that game. For being similar to offensive linemen, you guys are also like the perfect anti-O lineman, because all you need is one good play to celebrate like everything has turned your way, and you're Eli Apple who can slander the entire city of New Orleans.
I think everyone should adopt this general philosophy. Like, I've been preaching this for many years. Like, why not live like a DB? If you make one good point in a meeting, jump up and dance. Life is too damn short to be sad. Like, you're going to mess up. You're going to blow some stuff every now and then. You know what you do? 2 pats on the chest, then you move on to the next assignment. You do that reasonably well, or someone else does it well, but you are close enough to claim some credit. Dance. Like,
that's my favorite part of the dynamic is I didn't really do anything, but that guy failed, and now I'm taking credit for that specifically.
I want to see someone in like a board meeting where they had a presentation and then the dude whose presentation came after just pisses down his leg, and you just get up, no fly zone. You're not about to present this up in here. Not in my boardroom.
I love it. I mean, we should all be more like
Terry Tate, office defensive back, would have been a very different character.
We need to trademark that immediately, because it needs to happen. I mean, in this climate where everyone's sad all the time, we need more joy. In this climate.
Absolutely.
You got to remember, in this climate.
And in
Christmas
this climate,
decorations and defensive backs.
In this climate, I would say that Eli Apple is loving our conversation, but I'm looking at a tweet from 18 hours ago, and he says, quote, "No new friends." So, there is that.
I'm an old friend, I think. I think I qualify as an old friend. I got an Eli Apple retweet not too long ago, so I think we're old friends.
There it is. There's the receipt that we needed, Alabaster. We're back. We're back on track.
I'm friends with the king of the internet. Are we done?
Mina?
Yeah, I think we can move on. All right. The other football game.
Yeah, that is true.
The Rams beat the 49ers 20-17.
Speaking of,
Do you feel like the better team won?
oh wow, just a super insulting question, right? Like I love this. I love how insulting this is. I mean, on the one hand, yes, it's true that like the postseason, any single elimination tournament is not like engineered to find who is the better team. They're trying to find out who played the best in this specific game. But if you want to get real insulting about it, no.
I mean, the two coaches had a lemon booty off. Like they were competing to see who could have the tighter bung. It was ugly. It was unfortunate that they were both so like nervous and scared. And I guess I
For the
would
podcast
understand.
audience, we're all clenching our fists very explicitly right now.
I'm sorry. Let me get in on this. I don't want to let you guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So could you guys please take Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan off of the screen so we can get back to breaking this game down? What was the worst one? Was it the fumble review that Sean McVay called?
I think that was
for?
the worst
That
one.
just burned the timeout and like put himself in position. Like, okay, so Kyle Shanahan's about to punt the ball away. Poor decision. Sean McVay's like, you know what? Let me give you some more time to think about that by wasting a timeout on an obvious non-fumble on a play that you're about to get the ball back anyway in order to save like maybe 20 yards of field position. And the play was like clear. It wasn't one of those close ones. Like in that 30-second span, they both were like horrendously tight-bootied, and it was a problem.
How is it that the guy with the photographic memory bank is so bad at assessing like real world events?
Yeah.
Like I just don't.
Maybe
I
that's
understand he's a
the
genius,
trade-off.
but also like
clearly
a
that's
moron.
a trade-off.
Yeah, maybe yes, exactly. A zero-sum game of brain power. Like you don't have just a guy. Just a guy who's like, yo, don't do that. We just saw the replay. Don't do that. Like that doesn't happen. I guess he goes Maverick.
Well, it doesn't matter if there's a guy there or not. The man has the red button in his pocket, and he's gonna throw that thing. He's gonna throw it whenever he can.
Throwing that thing.
What happened? Is the alarm go off in your house? You got fire
Yeah,
alarm?
I'm gonna go see what that's doing.
A different red button has been pressed in Gojo's house.
Oh man, does he? Oh, it says "at me." I thought he just had a little sculpture that said "me." You are a DB.
Is
so
that a self-portrait of Gojo? That painting above him?
No,
like
not.
a bald head and then a beard. It's an artistic interpretation of Gojo.
I think that's the Golden Dome from Notre Dame.
I think we're right. He's back. So Pablo decided. Can you hear us? Pablo decided that's you. It's artistic self-portrait behind you. That Golden Dome. It's actually just your cream dome with a beard.
Oh, that would be like the beard down there and like the sort of like rougher looking, more oxygen or oxidized copper.
Yeah, I would like to know which coach was worse. Because I think it was Sean McVay, even though they won.
I agree.
Well, I don't know because the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo still starts and played so many snaps suggests to me that Kyle Shanahan was the worst.
Oh.
I would say.
Can we talk about that now?
Yeah.
Well, how do you? How does that all figure into your analysis here? The fact that what the internet basically willed to happen—that's what was incredible about it. It's like if the internet could vote by poll, what would be the funniest outcome? It would be that specific sequence that I want you to describe for us. Actually, if people out there missed it, how would you describe that, Gojo? What Jimmy Garoppolo did to lose this game officially?
Jimmy Garoppolo summoned like the spirit bomb of ineptitude in that moment. Like everyone's collective will for that created just a YOLO falling away ball from hell.
A moonfall, if you will.
Yes, it's actually the only term
moonfall.
For it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was tough. Like the Jimmy Garoppolo thing is going to be its own separate brand of like very interesting because I feel like the whole like because now there's people coming up and defending Jimmy Garoppolo and doing all this. It's like it wasn't about Jimmy Garoppolo. This was about Jeff Garcia and a bunch of comments made and Jimmy Garoppolo like being asked to stand in a room with people that like like just talent-wise and accomplishment-wise, he is not a peer of. Like, that is not who he is, and it's not his fault that he ends up there because he's on a good team. Like, that's awesome for him. Like, I was a decent player on a team that ended up being good, and it was a great time. But no one expected me to be anyone else. And for Jimmy Garoppolo, the people that support him expect or want to treat him like he's someone completely different, and that's where all the problems pop up.
I just want to go back to your great run, and I would like to redo all of that while comparing you to Quentin Nelson the entire time. I would like to do side by sides of Gojo and Quentin Nelson the entire time, which is what we're doing to Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, you see what Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen just did? And now, Jimmy, go do your Jimmy thing.
The best defensive.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say the best defensive Jimmy, just for like legal reasons, I suppose. Like, his thumb was busted, his shoulder was busted. Like, just as a matter of like just context.
Not a defense.
All right.
Because my issue with Jimmy is not that stuff. My issue with Jimmy is we accept that you are a mediocre quarterback at best. We accept that this team is incredibly, I was going to say well coached, but creatively coached, because I do not want to contradict what I said before. Is they are well coached on defense and creatively coached on offense, because the coach does not make all the great decisions, but he comes out with some quality scheme. So your role in this situation is not to try to be a hero and don't do anything stupid. And he manages every week to convince himself that he has a different responsibility. Like, if we wanted hero ball, we would have gone with the young gunslinger who has little experience and is going to give us some bad balls. Jimmy Garoppolo, if you remember from that game specifically and the week prior, those two games, his worst passes were after he had like broken a tackle in the backfield and rolled out. And now he's in improv mode. Throw it the bleep away. He threw it right 2 times. He threw it right at Jalen Ramsey's face mask. Like, if there is somebody on the field, maybe future Hall of Famer cornerback, that you don't want to throw it to, that's the guy. That's the guy. Then, not to mention how in the Green Bay game, they're moving down just before half, about to get a touchdown. He breaks the tackle, rolls out. Who am I? I'm not Jimmy G anymore. I'm somebody better. No, turnover. Then you go to this game, final drive. You have a chance to shut us all up, and you and Jeff Garcia can ride off into the sunset together as quarterbacks of this team that did not win Super Bowls. You could just be happy and ride off. And you are in the grasp of the best defensive tackle in the history of football, and you turn your back, spin around, and fling a ball at a running back. Had he even caught it, would have been a loss of yardage in that situation. Like, the whole reason why Jimmy Garoppolo is in the game is because he is supposed to be mature enough to guarantee that those things aren't going to happen. This is why I tried to make headlines last week, because I wanted Kyle Shanahan to do well. I tried to tell y'all to start Trey Lance. Start Trey Lance. Because why would you give a guy, why would you go out there with a guy who lives in the troughs but does not give you the peaks? The rookie, he can trough you, but you know what? I can see with that arm strength and that athleticism, some big damn plays. Pablo, you've been wanting to talk for a long time. Maybe I'll shut up. It frustrates me. I got it off my chest. I'll let you breathe.
I just think we should murder him. Allegedly. I'm sorry. I'm trying to beat Domonique's take, and I'm struggling.
You can't beat my take. That was a really good take.
Pablo, I'm amazed that you didn't come to light with this already, given your affinity for the quarterback I'm about to name, though. But everything that Domonique just described can be yours for a much lower price if you just commit to being sexy Ryan Fitzpatrick from here on out.
That's a great
Jimmy Garoppolo,
point.
you just got to lower the expectation. No one expects Ryan Fitzpatrick to come in and save your life. They're just pleasantly surprised when he does cool stuff for 5 weeks. Jimmy got paid like a guy that was supposed to do stuff. That day is going to end now after all this. And now he's going to become sexy Fitzmagic, meandering from team to team in the rest of the league here, throwing back-breaking interceptions after 3 weeks of fun.
Nope.
Wait a minute, Dominique, you say no. You say no to that. You don't think he's going to have a journeyman-type existence?
No, because Ryan Fitzpatrick at least has the upside. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick hits the YOLO balls. Like
That's
there
right.
are peaks.
Face mask
He's
being
gonna give
pulled
you,
backward
he's gonna
against
give
the
you
Raiders. Yeah, he
quite a
does
few
do that.
troughs, but he's gonna give you a reasonable amount of peaks. That's my issue with Jimmy Garoppolo. Is like, what am I getting? Like I'm paying the price of bad play and irrational confidence. What is my reward for that? A pretty face? I'm good.
It is someone who like drives in the middle lane of that freeway and then occasionally just loves to drift. Just like, why? What is happening? You were going
Exactly.
55 miles an hour for 100 miles, and now you're Tokyo drifting across the interstate.
Like this is that's a perfect driving is a good analogy because you think about like a young 16-year-old teenage boy just got his license. He is going to try some interesting stuff, but every now and then you're like, damn, that was cool. But you know what? We're going to give the keys to dad because dad is just going to keep us right in there in the middle. However, this particular dad has narcolepsy, and every now and then he just falls asleep and starts dreaming that he's Josh Allen and swerves over into the other lane. Get that man some pills.
Oh, good take. Get Jimmy G pharmaceutical drugs. We're just trying so hard to get aggregated, Alabama.
Is it fair to say that all Jimmy G takes are hot takes?
Good one.
I
I
mean,
think it's fair to say
Mm,
that all Domonique Foxworth takes are hot takes. My opinion.
mm.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's fair to say
Especially
that all my
the
takes aren't as good as
plagiarized
Quentin Nelson's.
Speaking of,
Imagine what he'd say about this. It'd be
I'm
great.
sorry about that. I'm sorry, Coach O.
No, I mean,
feel really
again,
bad.
I benefited greatly from not being compared to Quentin Nelson and all this. So thank you for reminding people that context is going to rob everyone of joy. Don't do it, guys. Don't compare yourself to people.
I've one extra thing to go on the Ram side of this. I want to play an impromptu round of Shark Take where I want to pitch you guys a
Ooh,
take.
I love
I want to
Shark
see
Take.
if you guys
Love
want to
Shark
invest
Take.
in this.
Oh, you weren't here when we created Shark
Oh,
Tank.
yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to do my Shark
Yeah.
Tank hand.
It's self-explanatory, Gojo. We don't need to explain it.
Sharks. I think that yesterday was
I'm
the
out.
best day in the last 20 years of Detroit Lions football, with Matthew Stafford going to the Super Bowl and Eminem playing the halftime show.
Wow.
Another stolen tweet. I don't know who tweeted it, but I saw it on the internet. You get out of here with your stolen tweets. You get out of here.
Stolen valor.
Do not believe. I've seen some good like jokes in my mentions. I retweet them things. I don't come on TV and try to say them like they're mine.
Wow.
I'm out.
Wow.
I am
This
out.
is-
You didn't even
yeah.
license that property. I'm out because I'm not going to jail as being a part of your tweeter stealing. I don't know the person's name, but I'm gonna try to figure it out so we can give that person credit.
Wait, Gojo, will you go 50% equity with me on this stolen tweet? Granted, it has been discredited by reputable sources. However, I think if we repost it and change a couple words, we could get royalties on this tweet. I don't know if any of those words mean what they mean.
Hannah
Shout out to
Francis.
Hunter Kenny. I found the tweet.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh,
I got a Hannah Francis.
Alabaster,
right
you
here.
confessed to it. And for that reason, I am out.
Hold on. Who is this Hunter person? When did they sit it out? I got Hannah Francis 15 hours ago.
Yeah, Sports Center credited Hannah Francis on Maine.
Yeah.
Sports Center and ESPN on the NFL collaborated to give her the credit on this one. Wow.
I demand an apology, a public apology to Hannah Francis for this foolishness. I'm sorry, Hannah.
Wait,
sorry,
my
too.
fellow Sharks, though. Can we consider
Dominique's
an
already
alternate?
out. Dominique's already out. This
I
is
was
awesome.
out
Consider
before he
an
said
alternate-
anything. I could,
an alternate
I could
product,
sense the
though.
lack of integrity in how he was pitching it from the beginning. I could smell it.
Listen, I'll buy stolen property. I don't care. What do we got here?
I don't want
Alternate
this.
take. This was the worst day for the city of Cleveland.
Yes. Again,
it's
you
not
out here
just-
stealing
No, no.
tweets again. Out here stealing tweets again. Goodness
But I'm combining different stolen tweets because I believe the stolen tweet you're referring to
It's like a
was
chop
off
of takes.
the Cincinnati thing, right?
That's a
It was
new-
off of
that's
the
a
fact
new
that
take.
Cincinnati became, the team of Ohio. Joe Burrow is Baker Mayfield. But then you add the Odell at the end. Like Odell, the way he played, I mean, come on. There's no worse day for Cleveland sports, I think. Well, actually, there are many worse days. There are lots of worse days, actually.
Pablo, I think this just made you an honorary DB and me not. because you just kept celebrating that one success while I cowered instantly and couldn't move on.
Yeah, Alabaster, true to form, you were an offensive lineman, terrified of anyone ever saying your name in public because it usually means something's gone horrifically wrong in this situation, which it absolutely did here in the middle of the tank. The tank is now full of blood and piss and a bunch of other stuff.
Easies.
Yeah, Odell was good yesterday. He's going to the Super Bowl. The Browns
catches,
are not.
13 yards.
Can I steal another take and say Odell Beckham Sr., Executive of the Year?
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
nice.
Saw that one out there too.
Yeah.
Let's just steal tweets
credit.
from here on out. Let's just steal them all. Let's just read.
Listen, most of being an expert is just reading a bunch of stuff that other people won't take the time to read, and then just kind of tweaking it a little bit. That's most of expertise. I will watch and read more than you, and some of the stuff will get aggregated.
and then say you rewatch the tape. I love telling you I rewatched the game. I rewatched the game yesterday. Oh, I never feel
it works so guys. It works so
credibility,
effectively. Oh my god, I'm impressed every time someone says that. I'm like, you know what I did? Not that. So congrats.
Let me tell you what I picked up on my third watch of the game yesterday. This stolen tweet.
By the way, I love that, like, the only time I was going to reference rewatching the game today was going to be to point out that I enjoyed that 4th and 2 punt by Kyle Shanahan where it cuts out 30 seconds and then you get to the end of the broadcast and all you see is that one Rams timeout gone because Sean McVay's bad challenge and a very disappointed sounding Troy Aikman, and you don't have the full context of why he's disappointed.
None of the context.
Because it's the shortened version of the
But
broadcast.
I do think we got like a Moonfall trailer in real time in between that, so I was pretty satisfied when commercial break hit.
Troy Aikman is so disgusted with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's been several weeks now where I listen to Troy Aikman, just like it's in his tone. It's not even the words he says, but it's just like Troy. I feel like Troy believes he could play better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, if the internet wants to get mad at someone for being mean to Jimmy Garoppolo, it should probably be Troy Aikman.
It's Troy's tone. Hey guys, Rihanna's having a baby. That's exciting.
Yo.
And Troy Aikman does look like white Jay-Z. So, yep.
That was a great find. I'm glad you came up with it and you didn't steal that.
Thank you.
Else.
Absolutely right. That was an original observation that has never been said before. Rewatch the tape to find that observation.
What's next?
Before we move on, one thing, Domonique, I have stolen that joke that you've tweeted out about Jimmy Garoppolo and Troy Aikman not being able to stand him. I've stolen that no less than 4 times in text threads with my friends who aren't on Twitter.
You're welcome. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can make you the funny guy in your group text.
That's right. All right, moving on. Next headline. What do you make of the ongoing Tom Brady retirement saga?
It feels like
I think I
Pablo's
love it.
account. Yeah.
I think I love it because there's this whole thing where like Tom Brady Sr., speaking of seniors, he's just very mad all the time, I think.
Yeah, he is.
And he's just like he's just every time I see him quoted, he's irate. And so he's irate at what Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington reported on Saturday, which is that his son is retiring. Tom Brady Sr. comes out and says, hell no, not happening, right? The Buccaneers, they come out and say, hell no, he hasn't told us that yet. Tom Brady's father, by the way, the quote is, the story is total conjecture. Tommy has not made a final decision one way or another, blah, 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 blah. Absolutely wrong. What's funny about this to me, though, is that, like, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Tom Brady's own company all tweeted congratulations on a great career and then had to delete it. Like, that to me is funny. The idea that you are trying to correct the record and make this sound so implausible, despite the fact that many people in his life all found this to be exactly what they were expecting. The cleanup process on this, it's either a brilliant scheme to drive attention to maybe the last episode of Tom Brady's ESPN Plus series, or it's just a fun, dysfunctional mess. Either way, I kind of tip my cap to it.
But why? Like, if you're going to retire eventually, like I don't know. Like, it seems odd, but I mean, maybe he's being honest about this. Like, Schefter tends not to get these things wrong. Neither does Darlington when it comes to Brady. So I'm gonna assume that it's right. But I'm confused. Like, the point of this stretching it out. I don't know. Gojo, you got the answer? I just don't get it.
I think high-level competitors tend to be control freaks, and for someone in Tom Brady who just got to watch his documentary during the season that he was playing, I think this is a person who probably enjoys controlling what is said about him at this point and has done a really good job of that with his social media feed and as a businessman. Like, he's kind of had control of a lot of his universe in sports and otherwise. And so having maybe this very like sensitive bit of news about yourself, come from somewhere else and all of this, I don't know. It just seems like a guy who wants to wait for enough time to happen so that he can make this sound cool and original on his own with what I'd imagine is an awesome video that his social team had put together and now had to go back and add stuff to.
Wait a minute. I'm just realizing he's going to come out with his own version of the stupid Matt Damon commercial. That's what this is all leading to.
Oh,
he's going to have like a
Cryptocurrency?
fortune favors the brave. You know that, Dominique, you know this one. Where like he's walking through a space museum and it's like Christopher Columbus and a couple like grinding at a club for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at the wonders of technology. Buy crypto.
Yeah.
This feels like an NFT setup is what I'm realizing. Tom Brady is just trying to sell us stuff, and he's mad that he couldn't do it on the day he wanted.
I don't know why. Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know why. You remember when he like fake retired that one time to get us all excited? He like sent that. Didn't he have like a video where he was like walking?
Yes,
like walking out of a stadium or something.
Right.
Yeah.
A commercial or
something?
It was
a commercial, yeah. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you,
Super Bowl commercials.
I found this story boring when it first popped up, and I'm even more bored by it as we talk about it. Like, we're talking about a guy who we know is probably going to retire, trying to unretire and not retire. Like, who cares?
Well, but Domonique, like, your exact frustration was borne out because, like, when this happened, everyone's like calling and asking, like, I don't know. You see people do a million interviews about Tom Brady's career. Like, we've already said all the stuff about him. Like, he's played for so long and so well that we've said every nice, meaningful thing about him in his career 200 times over. Like, we basically did Tom Brady's The Last Dance when he went back up to Foxborough in week 3 or whatever the hell that was. Like, we don't have anything left. Our stores are tapped and depleted.
I saw Charlie Weiss like popped up on NFL Network.
Yo, that angle, by the way,
it was.
Yo, the angle of his webcam was unflattering.
It was
out there.
Dude,
It was like
Charlie has looked like that
level.
since 2008 when I went in. Like, he is the ageless wonder. Charlie has looked exactly like that since he coached us in 2008 at Notre Dame. He has not changed.
The thing that got my attention about that was something I hadn't considered is people using his retirement to try to convince you that they were great. Because I noticed that, or like this is a thing I never caught before, is like when you're close to somebody who's great, you then get some shine that you haven't had in a while. And how are you going to parlay that shine to some attention? Like, I listened to Charlie say, and then I told him that it's all up to you now. I gave you everything I could give you. Like, Charlie Weiss? Really? Like, you're claiming that you set him on this path? And it made me more nauseous about this whole thing. But that's a move. I hadn't considered it before.
Dude, the amount of Instagram posts of guys that I know who are like with the Patriots for a year or two, like everyone's picture of Tom Brady comes out in these spots here. Like, it's, you know what though? Like, as far as the resolution of this, and now I feel like everything's kind of a stolen tweet because my brain's just like one aggregated internet. Maybe this is the end of like the inexplicable string of Gronk USAA ads.
Oh gosh.
Like, maybe eventually Tom Brady's on the other line of that, and he tells Gronk, hey, it's time to stop this quest. Let's go ride off into the sunset and go back to slinging CBD.
No, you know what? It's not over yet because I have a feeling like, who are the other Gronk brothers? Like Chris Gronkowski?
I think there's a Daniel.
Daniel and Steve. I don't know. That's what his name is.
I think
Raekwon.
They
got the Raekwon Gronkowski.
The chef.
Inspected Deck Gronkowski. They all have like stuff
Capadonna.
to monetize off of this. Yep.
36 chambers of Gronk.
I tried to end this topic a while ago. You forced me back into it, Gojo. Can we please get off of this boring, stupid retirement topic about this ageless man?
Alabaster, are you satisfied?
It was okay.
Yeah.
He's right.
But
He's right.
it was good enough that we can move on to some bonus tweets.
Thank you.
Ooh.
First one, we actually have a stat about the show.
Oh.
You can decide if it's good stat, bad stat. But Samuel Mace, debatable stats. This is Pablo's 50th show. There have been 74 episodes of Debatable, meaning Pablo's appeared on 67.6%. The only other person to appear on at least half is Domonique. Congratulations on 50 appearances, Pablo.
Wow.
Thank you.
Is this Pablo's version of that Brady stat that he's appeared in 50% of the Super Bowls since he entered the league and like 18% of the Super Bowls ever played?
That's right. Thank you for all being a small part of my journey. I couldn't have done it without all of the minor characters that are utterly forgettable. Yeah, you could be my.
I'm gonna take this picture so I can post it later with the two of us.
I cannot. I don't want to get into the accuracy or inaccuracy of Pablo's apparent retirement. I just want to say that Pablo's been on an amazing journey, and I'm so proud of him.
Thank you.
Pablo's going to be the only one that decides when his journey comes to an end. So.
And also, my wife is very mad at me for doing it this often. So there is that.
Our next tweet is from our friend Long Live the Queen, who she tweeted, "Next, Pablo is going to give Dragonfly Jones credit for tweeting out that Micah Parsons is terrifying."
It's a great callback. Quality callback, Queen.
Wow.
This is a low point for me. I've just become the guy reading other people's tweets that have already been said by other people.
Hold on. How did you? No, don't let Alabaster put that on you. He's doing it too. Like his was the most egregious. He was the most egregious tweet.
That's
stealer.
right. The Detroit thing. He had a whole bit.
Yeah,
you brought us into. You brought us
wrapped
into
that around a game.
Speaking of that, we actually have a tweet about that from Alabaster's Burner, who said Domonique is trying to put Alabaster in a cancel culture casket for stealing tweets.
I am. That's where he belongs.
Feels like Inception now.
Shout out to Alabaster's Burner for getting Dominique's name spelled correctly, though.
Yeah, that's how I know that it's Alabaster's Burner. No one else. No one else. It's not just someone trying to be funny and say Alabaster's Burner. That is actually Alabaster's Burner. No one else spells my name like that. No one spells that name that way except for me and my mom.
I thought for
Is that
sure
true?
we were going to get Hannah Francis tweeting us in, by the way.
I've never heard anyone going 2 O's in Domonique except for me. I think I'm the only one on earth.
So you're the Domonique version of like being the first Jalen then. You're the first 2-0 Domonique.
There aren't any others, unfortunately.
Which reminds me, Rihanna, if you're out there and you're looking for a name, we just settled on one candidate.
I think so.
You know,
I think Gojo's a better name. What's Rihanna or
His last
A$AP
name.
Rocky's last name? I don't know. Gojo Rocky?
Is it Rocky?
I don't know either of their last names.
I would like the idea that it
Google
was
it,
just
though.
like, what if it was just Michael? Michael Rocky.
Nah.
All right, we got one more.
No.
We got one more, and this comes
Fenty.
from Pablo is a
Of
nerd.
course.
Oh, that's right.
It
Fenty.
said, this comment says, Pablo is becoming poppy. He stole his fake phone call bit last week and did the Kershaw choking bit today. Please don't take your shirt off next.
Please do.
Yeah,
Oh.
I feel like now that's
These
an
are all-
invitation. That's
These are
like a
all
dare.
good points, to be honest. I'm still on my New Year's resolution, guys. I'm not comfortable enough yet to do that. But hopefully, show 100, you're going to see my nips.
A$AP Rocky's last name is Mayers?
Mayors?
Mayors?
Like
Mayers.
wow.
Rakim.
Rakim Mayors.
Yeah. I
So
guess he
what's
was
gonna go
destined to
with
be
that?
a rapper. And with the name Rakim, it's all you can be. I feel like if you're named Rakim and you like
Or
become
Eric.
an accountant, you're like failed. Like you should have like clearly your parents wanted you to be a microphone fiend, and instead you turned out to be a Excel jockey.
So is this like the hip hop version of like naming your child the coldest and them not being a great defensive back? Or like just being great at anything really? Because like again, like the burden of a name like that, you have to be great, and in this instance, you've got to rock a microphone.
I got an older brother named Dion. High school football is where it stopped. He wasn't even that good at corner, honestly. So I don't know. I feel like he let down the name Dion. But I guess Dion Warwick. So
Yeah,
You know,
well,
But this is
Mortal
why
enemy.
I am most impressed of all the celebrities in Hollywood.
Hold on.
What
You
just happened?
You should be trafficking cocaine.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh
yeah,
wait, hold
Pablo.
on.
What is he going to get cocaine?
Pablo, not it's just freaking
Yeah,
live. You're not good at your
don't-
job.
Don't show it on air.
So I did get this shirt.
Wait, what
Hold,
does
hold
it
it a
say
little
below
higher,
it?
Pablo.
You gotta hold it higher so we
Pablo.
can see the bottom part.
Higher. Up.
Pablo.
Oh wow.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
I don't think
For the
the people
Can-
they're gonna be very confused. Like it sure doesn't mean what you think it is. It's just my name.
What are you talking about?
Michael,
God.
why
Alright,
are
guys,
you
we-
not jumping from the free throw line and winning dunk contests or
I'm-
making classic music
Oh,
or
That's what I was gonna say though. The celebrity I'm most impressed with in Hollywood is Michael B. Jordan. He did it. He did the impossible. Think about that.
he broke the curse.
He
All right,
broke
guys,
the curse.
we have one more tweet. This one comes from Lorenzo Rodriguez, who tweeted the Gojo Dome of Notre Dame by Pablo Torre.
Mm. Good Photoshop.
Let me see
Thanks,
if I can,
Lorenzo.
let me see if I can get it right.
That's
For
perfect.
the podcast audience, I'm not even going to begin to explain what's happening here, but it's beautiful.
They
It's
can watch it on YouTube or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Isn't
go-
this on
go
YouTube?
Throw
We
us,
got a
throw us
YouTube
some
channel.
views. Smash that like button.
Yeah, rate review.
Yeah.
Rate and review.
I think Alabaster's gonna be mad at me when this is all said
Why?
and done, guys.
Oh, because you went too in on the whole shark take.
No.
thing?
He'll forgive that. I think he'll be upset that I rushed us through that last topic because we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for tweets
Yeah.
from Lorenzo.
We didn't have no
know.
games ready.
I know. Now, I'm sorry, Alabaster. I want to apologize publicly on behalf of me and my family that I ended up forcing us into reading Lorenzo tweets.
I've been trying to talk about Nadal for 3 days.
Oh yeah, shout out to Raekwon Nadal.
Yeah, the chef.
You did it, buddy. You chefed up your 21st men's major
Goodbye. We knew this was
championship.
coming. Like
Man,
the energy
we-
at the start of this show, like we knew it was coming.
really.
I feel like
I'm
we
proud of
spiked
us.
at a couple moments.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, that
We
was
made
Now we
it.
just have weird nasal drip.
That was as low tier debatable as we're ever gonna have.